just dance. Autoflowers take their chance. Deep down a perfect stance. We watch as nature enhances. Under lights we feel the trance.
Hey there, I'm Novacotton, and welcome to Grow With Me here on YouTube. This is episode 5, 5, and happy that you're here. This is really freaking awesome. And we're on week 4 of our grow, and things are starting to really take shape. Now let's check that out. So as we're moving into week 4 of veg, you'll start to notice the plants really start to fill up. And at this stage, you should start to really see solid growth in both height and canopy spread. And I've been doing some light, low stress training here and there, mainly leaf tucking to help even out the canopy, as you see right now. Nothing too intense, just enough to balance out the light coverage across the canopy. Leaf tucking is a straightforward way to train without really stressing out the plant too much. And it keeps everything moving smoothly in the early stages. It's really great. So for those interested in how I approach training my plant, I basically maximize light efficiency and encourage lateral growth. I prefer leaf tucking because it's honestly the best low stress method that I can think of. Yet it gradually exposes the lower nodes to the light. No cutting, just a gentle guidance. For those of you tracking specifics, I keep my DLI at around 20, and I stick to the same feed mix, 25 milliliters of Cropsalt Part A and B each. My VPD is dialed in at 0.8, and to keep that balance of temperature and humidity just right for optimal growth, that's what I strive for. So as I mentioned, I'm mainly using leaf tucking in this grow, but there are a few other popular training methods you might want to consider depending on your goals and experience level. A common method is topping, and this involves cutting off the top of the main stem to encourage the plant to produce multiple main branches instead of a single main cola. The benefit? You get a more even canopy and potentially more colas, which can increase yield. The downside though is that topping can stress the plant a little bit, and it's best to do it early in the veg stage to give your plant plenty of time to recover. This is especially very important with autoflowers. Today marks day 21, and check out this beauty right here. She's really filling out, and I couldn't be much happier than how she's turning out to be. And this is all because of speedrunseeds genetics. And speedrunseeds has been my go-to for quality genetics that are fast, resilient, and perfect for growers who just want to do a quick turnaround without sacrificing quality. This particular strain is a real powerhouse, and anyone interested can go ahead and type Novaspeed on their website and you get 15% off. It's a great way to support the channel and get yourself some top-notch auto seeds to grow along with me. Quiz time. What is the purpose of using a humidity dome during the seedling stage? Is it to increase light exposure? Is it to maintain high humidity and encourage root growth? To reduce the need for watering? Or to prevent pests? A humidity dome helps retain moisture around young seedlings and create a humid environment that promotes root development and prevents them from drying out. This is especially important when germinating your seeds successfully. Now a message from our viewers, and he says, what's your COCO/perlite ratio? Well, I usually do 100% COCO, but this time around I went with 50-50. Alright, next question. Oh, he had a follow-up question, and he says, what newts are you using in the res? And I'm going to use Jax. So I use Cropsalt, concentrate, and the normal Cropsalt, and they're both very good at maintaining a stable pH, and they don't really go too crazy in the reservoir tank, as long as you don't add too much run clean. The next one is, silly question, but where did you get your black 1-gallon newt jugs and the measuring syringe? Oh, that's kind of a silly question. For the jugs, I have a listing right here. You could just look up the specifications that you see on the screen. And for the syringe, I have the metal rods from this Newt that I bought, but I do not recommend it. It will break on you. I got this replacement here. It's the same syringe type, but you know, it doesn't come with a giant rod. But this one that is used to feed goats does. You could use different syringes. I've seen another one like this automotive one where it's used for like fluids for cars. You know, it works pretty good. It's 50 milliliter limit. So you know, use what you can, guys. You don't have to use the things I use. So just have fun with it. Quiz time. Alright, what is the part of the plant that should be removed when performing topping on the cannabis plant? Is it the side branch, lower leaves, the main stem above a node, or the older leaves? It's C. Topping involves cutting the main stem just above the node to encourage the plant to grow two main colas, resulting in a bushier structure. Yeah, it's a way you can get a chunky monkey. Alright folks, I got a special treat for you in today's episode. Joining us is a friend of mine and a knowledgeable grower in the community. Everyone, meet Kippa. Kippa has been in the game for a while now, and he has shared some of his top advice with new growers. He's got a ton of tips and tricks up his sleeve, so if you're just starting out or even looking to sharpen your skills, you're in for some valuable insight. Be sure to check out his Twitter, he's freaking awesome. And now, 10 essential tips from Kippa.
Everybody watching, thank you all. Nova, appreciate you inviting me on your episode. You asked me what I would say to a new grower if they asked me for new tips and tricks to get into growing. To start off with, I would recommend doing your homework. You kind of don't just want to dive right into this. You might get overwhelmed. Prepare yourself, study up before you make purchases, before you buy your nutrients, your tank, your light, and everything else. Make sure you understand what it is you're looking for, right? Like behind me, I got a 4x4 tent. You aren't gonna want a crazy light for that, right? You're gonna want a light that's designed for a 4x4 tent. So instead of buying a light that's too small and then having to buy another light, or having to buy a light that won't even fit in a 4x4, make sure you understand what it is that you're planning to do and how you're planning to grow, because everyone's got a little bit different of a situation. Some people got whole rooms, some people got tents, some people got rooms full of tents. So everyone's got things a little bit differently. There's no set in stone answer for get this, that, and this, because my situation might be different from yours. Number 2, I would suggest starting small and expanding over time. Now, we all want as many plants as we can fit in our house. Trust me, if I could, every single room in my home would have a plant in it. But that's not always an option for everybody. So it's okay to start with a 4x4 or even a 2x2, and over time, as you learn and as you decide that this is something that you want to continue doing, you can expand, right? So you start with a 2x2, you end up with a 4x4, maybe you even expand it to a 5x5, or even a whole grow room. Like I said before, whatever works for you and your situation is good, but you don't have to break the bank before you're even sure what you're doing or if you're going to want to continue doing this. And number 3, big mistake that I see is people trying to speed up the process. People thinking that they can kind of skip a stage by giving it extra nutrients or extra light. They think that will speed up the process, when really it can slow things down drastically. Don't try and rush, right? Just stay on course. So if you're in seedling, you're not going to speed up the growth of the plant by force feeding it too many nutrients or blasting it with too much light. You're gonna stress that plant out, and it's gonna slow down the growth rather than speed it up. So don't try and rush the process. It's gonna take a few weeks of veg and a few weeks of flowers. It's usually anywhere from 4 months, give or take, total, if you're going photo periods. So it takes time. You can't speed up nature. It is what it is. Relax, slow down, take your time, and enjoy the process. Don't try and speed run it. You need to understand the media that you're using. So if you're going to get a pre-amended soil like a Fox Farm Ocean Forest, or what I like to use, which is Roots Organic Original, you're buying soil that already has dry amendments in it, right? It's the Ocean Forest, at least it used to be really popular. I'm not sure about now, but it's said to be really hot for seedlings, right? So let's say you just buy Fox Farm Ocean Forest because it was suggested to you by a friend, and then you buy a synthetic line of nutrients, and you look at the feeding schedule for the nutrients, and it's telling you to feed in seedling stage. You don't need to do that with Roots Organic or with Ocean Forest or any of these pre-amended soils, because they've already got the nutrients in them. All you got to do is pH your water. Make sure you're giving it anywhere from 6 to 6.5. And for the first 3 to 4 weeks, you don't have to feed them anything at all. Number 5, right? This is an important one. Don't compare your grow, especially early on in your first 1 or 2 harvests. Do not compare your grow to other people's grow, right? Don't have realistic expectations of yourself. Okay, so you got to think of this as like you're coming into an area where the person who you're comparing it to might have thousands and thousands of hours of experience, or at least hundreds of hours, right? So don't have an expectation of yourself to be just as good as them when you don't have any experience, right? Have realistic expectations of yourself. You're gonna stumble, you're gonna make some mistakes. Just learn from those mistakes. So I look at it like for whoever on here plays video games, right? Let's say you come into Counter-Strike, right? You just got a PC. People have been playing Counter-Strike for fucking years now, right? For like 20 years. Now let's say you just got a PC, you come from console, you've never played Counter-Strike in your life, you're gonna get steamrolled in the beginning, right? It is what it is. What you need is experience. You just need to keep battling through it for hundreds up to thousands of hours, and the next thing you know, you'll be just as good, if not better, than some of the people who are capping you early on. My 6th tip to a new grower is that you are going to make mistakes. It's gonna happen. Ask any grower you know. Chances are they've made mistakes. I've made mistakes this harvest. You know, I think I got a pretty decent run ahead of me, but this fell below my expectations. You know, so you're gonna make mistakes. So what you want to do is you want to take notes on what you're doing, right? Everything you do, every time you feed them, take a note, right? The date, right? What you gave them, what your pH was, everything you can, the temperature, the humidity, everything you can, the dial on your light. Try and have as accurate of notes as you can. That way, when you do have a really good run, you can look back on your notes and go, okay, so I did this at this stage, I did that at that stage, and you can kind of try and replicate it, right? Number 7. No yellow pH meters. Right? We all know the ones I'm talking about, the ones you get on Amazon. They're cheap. Everyone wants them because they're cheap. They're like, what, 15, 20 bucks or something like that on Amazon. Don't get them. Please, don't get them. Avoid them. They suck. Okay? Get yourself an Apera or a Blue Lab. Those are the 2 best options. That just is what it is. Until another one comes around that's just as good as those 2 in terms of reputation and reliability, I would stick to Blue Lab or Apera for a pH meter. Number 8. It's important. They're all important. This is in no particular order, by the way. Learn the basics, right? Understand, and there's plenty of charts out there, and there's plenty of people you can ask out there, but understand the temperature and the humidity that you want for each stage of growth, right? And even if you're cutting clones or whatever, you want to understand what the ideal environment is to provide for those plants. So if you're in veg, you might want the humidity and the temperature a little bit higher than if you were in flower. Just understand everything from the temperature to the humidity and understanding air circulation in your grow space. All right, you want to pull the old air out, you want to pump new air in, you want to circulate the air all around the tent to avoid any issues with mold or mildew. So number 9 would be good genetics. This one's a bit tricky because good genetics tend to be expensive, okay? It just is what it is. They can be from anywhere from $10 a seed to $30 a seed. $30 a seed, in my opinion, is kind of crazy, but it is what it is. That's what people are charging. That's what the market is willing to pay for it. If the market wasn't willing to pay $30 a seed, then the breeder would not be willing to charge $30 a seed because the breeder wouldn't be making any sales, right? For my final tip and trick for newer growers, I would always recommend you allow your plants to mature. Do not chop them early. Generally speaking, the plants will take anywhere from 6 to 10 or even 12 weeks of flower, if it's a photo period, to fully mature and finish up. You don't want any Guy Fieri looking buds. I promise you, you will be disappointed in the end result if you chop the plants early. What you basically looking for is just overall ripeness, right? So if you're experienced with flowers, what you're looking for is a bud that looks like you could pick it right off the plant, throw it in a bowl, and light it up, right? So like it looks ready. Aside from, of course, you're gonna have to trim, dry, and cure, but just the overall aesthetic of it looks ready. The white stigmas that are coming out of the colas, they're not white anymore, right? They've matured, they've darkened, they've tightened up a bit into the flower. Maybe you're looking for the fade on the leaves, but not every single plant's gonna fade. There's a lot of things that go into the ripeness, but the main thing is to check your trichomes. Get a jeweler's loupe, whether it's a Maxi or one of the clip-on ones for your phone. Get yourself a jeweler's loupe, inspect the trichomes, get used to doing that because it's a part of the process. It's not always easy to take a trichome picture, but it's something that you should get practice with because it will help you out in terms of knowing when to harvest. Those are my 10 tips and tricks for new growers. Nova, my man, appreciate you letting me on the episode. You the man, bro. Thank you all for watching. I appreciate it, and hopefully maybe you learned something.
And that's a wrap for episode 5 of Grow With Me. I hope y'all enjoy learning about low stress training and getting some solid tips from Kippa and checking out the progress here on week 4. If you want to keep up with all the latest updates, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram. I'll be sharing tips, behind the scenes content, and more. Also, make sure to subscribe to my channel here on YouTube and hit that notification bell so you never miss an episode. And if you want to explore all my content in one place, check out my Linktree. I've got discount codes in there for some of my favorite brands like acinfinity and Autopot. You'll find exclusive savings to help you gear up for your own growth. So if you're looking to save up on some high quality equipment, hey, give that a look. And I'm signing off. Be happy, stay healthy, and keep on growing.